Okay, in this demonstration, I'm going to enlarge one of my small studies that I did last week. I have already blocked out loosely. Originally, there was this white sheet of paper, so I blocked that out on there. I like this piece. It just kind of happened. It looks like a window with some light coming through. So obviously, this is going to be hard to, accurately reproduce. So I'm going to try and loosen up today and use this composition, but as a springboard, really, and hopefully it'll go in another more spontaneous direction. Because I noticed this week when doing enlarging, a lot of them felt it's tricky. They can feel kind of dead or boring. So I'll work with this composition, but then maybe add some other stuff to try and break it up, loosen it up. Okay, I've got to turn this around so I can orient. Okay, so I blocked the white shape out. I want to leave some of it white so that it has that light showing through. And then, so there's this shape, and then there's kind of another shape. I'm just going to loosely put that in with my kind of marker. Okay, so, and then I'm going to start with a wash and the surround. Now, here, obviously, there's brown paper. Where I'm going to diverge here is I'm going to put a different color there just to spice it up. And I was going to go with this color, and now I'm going to kind of wing it. I'm going to go with this pink, which I don't know how it's going to interact with the other colors, but I'm just going to jump in. So I want to put a wash surrounding this rectangle. So this is just this cheap hardware store brush. Going to add water to that paint. And the reason for putting color, you could call it a ground on there, is then as I'm painting, I want to consciously let some of that color show through to interact with colors I'm going to put on top of it. And I normally would not do pink. Not always my favorite color, but I thought, you know what? Let's do it. Let's see what's going to happen. Now, this is very wet, and in a perfect world, I would put that out in the sun and let it dry, or use a blow dryer on it, but no time for that. So I'm going to blot it with this absorbent paper towel. I'm going to pull off some of that paint. And I was showing my mixed media students last night that the paper towel is interesting. I could save that for another piece. Now it's a little lighter than I want, so I can come back in with slightly less watery paint. Okay, so we got that. All right, now what do I have here? I'm going to have some red over there, gray over here. Oh, I'm looking at it backwards. Blue over here. Okay, I think I'm going to do my splatter with the toothbrush. And that'll spread a little bit on this wash here. And this is that high flow. Okay, and things are going to change immediately, because again, I don't have dry time there. So as I add more paint, it's going to moosh around and blend. It's going to become a different painting. Let's go ahead, red over here. All right. So I'm moving pretty quickly. The ground layer, you're really just blocking in. You're blocking in your structure. You want to keep it loose. So I'm adding a little bit of water, but not too much. And then right now I'm using that 45-degree angle to drag and get paint off of my brush. And when I drag, I don't get like opaque coverage, which is good because then I'm seeing the pink showing through from below. Okay, so what's happening, see in this piece, because I have a white sheet of paper and there's some dimension and there's a contrast to this brown, I can see it. I'm starting to lose it over here. So that's going to be an issue I can, that I'll address. Okay, now I'm going to go blue. Okay, so I'm changing brushes. I didn't like that brush. It was too floppy. Again, that 45-degree angle. So I'm kind of scrubbing it a little bit. If I scrub it, then the paint's going to mix right there on the surface. Okay, so this is the point where I put my drawing away because now I'm heading in a completely different direction. I'm not really wowed by anything there yet, but I've got my structure. And so I'm putting my inspirational drawing away because this is going to become its own thing. Now, I'm going to encourage you to get, they come in different colors. This is that water-soluble graphite. I'm going to do some fiddling around here with color and to bring some spontaneity back. Here's some of the colors that I like: a yellow ochre, whatever that is, iron oxide, and a sepia tone. Okay. What I like about these is I can use the flat surface of it. You don't really see anything yet, but you will in a minute. And then I can use the tip of it to get a precise line going on. So I think at some point we're going to use these, and they're great when mixed with gesso, because the gesso then becomes a paint and blended color. Okay, hang on. All right, now I'm going to just use a damp brush and whisk across that surface, and you're going to see these graphite colors come to life. Just using a damp brush, again, that 45-degree angle. And they mix nicely with the acrylic paint. So as I'm doing this, I'm trying to make quick decisions or responses. So still, I'm still not totally satisfied, okay? But if I get that little voice in my head that says, do this or do that, then that's what I do. So I was thinking, it's gonna maybe go darker down there. No, over to the gray. Not big on the pink. I want it there, but I don't want it to be so predominant. So I'm reacting to shapes, color. And a little more pop. So here goes. I'm going for globbier paint now. So this is that angled brush. I really like it. I can get a sharp edge. If I just tap it, it's like a little stamping tool. I'm going to turn it around for a second so you can see it. And then in an odd move, I think I'm going to change that color. Let the blue be here and something else there. I don't know what yet. So this is the risk. You know, I went to this first, like, oh, that's this window. I don't know why. It's either going to be green or this indigo blue. I guess I'm going indigo. I could totally blow it, but trial and error. Okay, so this, I'm just using a damp brush. I like this high flow. It kind of bleeds. It's mixing here. It's like a stain. Okay, I kind of like it, I think. Something going on there. Okay, so something is still like missing. I don't know if I love this thing. It looks like Frankenstein's scar. Um, okay, so what's missing to me is something of a finer line or detail, and maybe some thicker impasto paint. So I'm going to do a little overlap to show you how to push things back. So sometimes you want some colors, some shapes to come forward and some to go back. So right now I'm going to try and overlap this brown shape, which feels a little heavy, and I'm going to do it with impasto paint. I'm going to go right on top. And it's difficult now because my paint, it's getting to kind of a soupy stage where I might not be able to add anymore, but I'm trying to overlap. It's not really cooperating. I'm going to try and overlap this over the brown. Okay, so it's getting kind of soupy. This is probably where I would need to stop, but if I wanted to have some finer lines, I could if I don't like it, I can take it out. Sorry about that. So I can still, what I'm trying to say is manipulate the paint for a fair amount of time. I don't like it, I can scrape it out. I can pull paint up by blotting. Yeah, I like that, pushing it back a little bit more, pushing that back. And then I can overlap when it's drier with thicker paint, almost like this is a building structure and I'm looking through a window. I'm going to end for now.